Okay, this is the mission 48, organized by Mars Analog Research Station Habitat Marte. It's a virtual mission. And then today we'll have the presentation of Thays Barreto and Jeanine Machado about how would be the operation of a health center in Mars. Thanks so much, Thais and Jeanine, for your participation. You are welcome, and you can start your presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor. So we're here to talk about our proposal for the health center in this mission 48. Firstly, just introducting the health center. The health center would be responsible for all medical emergencies and follow up healthcare of all the astronaut crew. So it would be responsible for routine checkups of astronauts' health, dental care, mental care, injuries treatments, surgeries, and complex medical procedures, among other things. Our module infrastructure, we imagine we will be using and abusing of technology and robotics. So it would be really easy for the crew to work with it. We would have all equipment and machine that we'd need for diagnosing and treating all the astronauts. We would be using technology for helping us in treatments. Like for an example, if a astronaut needs to stay in isolation due to some contagious disease, some we can use tele video conference to make the medical diagnosis, the medical treatments, like in the second picture here, and all this stuff. It would be really futuristic for us now, and but we would really help our astronauts to have a high quality life in on Mars, on or in other habitats. As for the number of team members, we imagine we would have 6 person in the health care center. Besides me and Jeanine, which we would be chiefs, we would be administrators. So amongst the team members which would be working with the medical issues, we would have a multi-specialized doctor who would perform surgeries, dental care, develop nutrition plans for the meals, and keep up with astronaut basic health data like vitamins, hormones, heartbeat, and blood pressure. We would have a general practitioner, which would plan and perform the crew checkups, develop and implement mental care processes, provide medical assistance for the astronauts, and also provide assistance to surgeries. We would also have a paramedic who would happen to be a physiotherapist too. He would lead the emergency and rescue teams, would train the station's crew in first aid procedures. Everyone should know first aid procedures. Develop procedures to help astronauts maintain physical shape, and also provide assistance to surgeries. We would also have a nurse who would perform basic clinical evaluation and exams, assist the implementation of mental care procedures, provide assistance in surgeries also, and compose the emergency and rescue teams. Aside from that, we would have 2 people, which would be doing research and production of medicaments and other things, like a biomedical engineer who would work on biomedical research, would be responsible to follow up and advise on new treatment procedures, and would manage the medical storage. And we will also have a chemical engineer who would work on the research and production of medicaments, manage the fluid storage, and would also compose the emergency and rescue team. Upon our duties, me and Jeanine, we would be health center chiefs. So we would be responsible for financial administration, Center's crew management, maintain contact with the Earth base, develop and deliver monthly reports to this Earth base, and center technical maintenance would be our responsibility.
Also, we found a software called providingtoliving.com, and we couldn't put here do it copyright, but we can calculate the amount of food storage for one person, and then we can simulate for a group of the crew. So we have here the average weight for one man. We fixed about 8 kilograms for one man, and the quantity of food needed for 1 week supply will be about 1 lbs of dairy products, 1 lbs of sugar, 1 lbs of powdered food, could be powdered eggs, and 1 lbs of salt, and 1 lbs of fats. And also the amount of grain for 1 week supply would be 8 lbs. 1 lbs equals to 0.454 kilograms. And also for 1 week supply, one man will need about 14 gallons per adult, which will be 52 and 92 liters of water per week. So the sufficient quantity of food for 1 week will be calculated for one man average weight about 8 kilograms. Please, the next slide.
Okay, on resources sources, we would import from Earth medicines which we can produce in the habitat, chemical elements and raw materials for our local production and research on medicines, medical and laboratorial equipment which we cannot print in 3D printing, and some intravenous fluids. On the other side, we could work on the production or collection in situ of some medicines. Blood from our astronauts would be like a blood donation, and some intravenous fluids which could be produced there. The required equipment, like I said, mostly we would have to bring from Earth, and we would need standard equipment for life and health assurance of the team, such as water microproduction system, food microproduction system, waste system, and entertainment and physical training equipment. This would be for us that live inside this module, and we would need that to live there. Upon the medical equipment, we would need basic diagnostic and therapeutic measurement equipments, surgery equipment, dental care equipment, and many, many other. Here we are showing two tables, which show some diagnostic techniques and definitive and supportive therapeutic measures. These are from a book called Space Clinical Medicine, and it shows all the procedures we would need inside the habitat. So we would need equipment for performing all these procedures. As guidelines for other modules, we ask all the astronauts to please fill fill in the daily personal report at the end of each day and send it to the health center personnel. The DPR allows us to track mood changes and other variables that can cause fatigue and performance degradation, and this will provide us with information to improve our astronauts' quality of life. So it's really important for you to fill in the DPR. Do not, in any case, skip the relaxing and exercising scheduled times. We know that we have a lot of work to do, but these times are very important for your immune system and your mental health. It was already studied and it is true. So please do not skip the relaxing and exercising scheduled times. Also, maintain your 8 hours of sleep. Like I said, we have a lot of work. We know sometimes we can't maintain these 8 hours, but try to do so. It's really important because it directly affects your immune system. We also ask for you to not forget to sanitize your EVA suit and boot when returning to the habitat. Mars regolith is really toxic and may also cause problems to our air filtering and ventilation systems. So please sanitize and do it well, your EVA suit and boots. Keep your health monitoring gadgets in place. We have these watches which are measuring our heartbeat and our blood pressure, oxidation in the oxygen in the blood. So please keep them in place, wear them, because our system of health monitoring helps us keeping you healthy and safe. Also, immediately contact the health center in case you feel ill. Due to isolation period, you shall contact us through the internal communication system. You don't need to go to the health center. But please give us a call if you feel ill or feel any weird symptoms. Some of these could also be applied in Earth, so again, do not skip the relaxing and exercising schedule times. Relax and exercise daily, so because it is very important for your immune system and your mental health, as well as for our astronauts. Our lives on Earth always need this. Maintain your 8 hours of sleep too, because, like I said, it affects your immune system, and especially in this context, we're having a pandemic, and it's really dangerous to 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 be infected. So do it. Do everything you can to improve your immune system and guarantee your mental health. Do not forget to sanitize your clothes. You don't use an EVA and we don't have regolith in Earth, but our clothes, shoes, and hands might be carrying some pathogens and virus like COVID-19. So please sanitize your clothes, shoes, and hands every time you return home. Also, contact the emergency service in case you feel ill, or especially if you feel any of the symptoms of COVID-19. You can contact them by telephone or some applications on your cell phone. But do it quickly to avoid contagion other people. And also, if you feel sick with any contagious disease, doesn't need to be COVID-19, any contagious disease, be like an astronaut, be like us, and isolate yourself to prevent contagion other people.
Here we have the protocols for healthcare model. The healthcare model will monitor the health of astronauts and provides medical care capabilities. It also includes equipment for emergency life support and resuscitation. This model includes equipment and protocols for the monitoring and performance of daily exercise to minimize the physiological harmful effects of space flight and social isolation. Also, nanomolecules could be used to prevent viruses contaminations. Graphene, nanodiamond, polymer nanofibers, for example, polyacrylonitrile, and such nanoparticles as silver, titanium dioxide, and copper oxide are commonly incorporated into these categories of products so as to contribute to their proficiency. Please, the next. Deep space missions will further expose astronauts to various physiological stressors. For example, heterogeneous crews, different nationalities, cultures, ethnicities, races, skill sets, extreme isolation and confinement, privacy and ability issues, strained relationships with distant family and friends, and complex interactions with ground support teams. So these are several factors that can affect the emotional condition of the crew and needs to be considered. Please, next. Eliminating risks with disinfection. Disinfection is a very important part of the protocol to prevent from viruses. This includes the use of vetted disinfection products, technologies to eliminate potential risk. One of the remediation and rebuild is complete. Once it's complete, the protocol must include steps for disinfection of the equipment used, as the risk for infection could be still active. Next. Also, there's several risks about the atmosphere due to dust storms on Mars. And also, this is an important factor to be considered. Earth's desert have nothing to do on the Martian landscape when it comes to dust storms. The red planet is so dry, dusty, and rocky that its dust storms can last for weeks. These storms develop quickly and can cover vast regions of the planet. Because of the Martian atmosphere is so thin, superfine particles of dust rise in the air as heat from the sun and warms the atmosphere. Also, Mars has such an eccentric orbit that its sea are extreme. The seasons are very extreme. Temperatures can be as low as 143 degrees Celsius and also as high as 35 degrees Celsius. During Martian summers, when the temperature swings the most at the equator, dust storms are more likely to develop, and more often they will happen, these dust storms. So this is a serious risk about the atmosphere and the health condition of the crew and must be considered. Next, please.
On safety protocols, we indicate that each medical and research procedure shall follow international standards. Okay? No medical procedure shall be performed without at least one assistant, because we are preparing to have some problems. There must always be someone in the health center. The health center must never be empty. This guarantees that there is always someone to attend an emergency. Each team member must work according to your attributions, and health center professionals are always also submitted to the same protocols and processes as the rest of the crew. For an example, they must respect the working schedule, like I said, and the working and the relaxing and the exercising time, and this includes also meal. They must also fill the DPRs every day, like I said, and we only have exceptions in case of long surgeries or emergencies, which will alter their schedules after. Their schedules will be updated according to the time they have spent working a lot. Also, all health center team members must wear special sanitized suits inside the health center medical floor. On the other hand, regular clothes must be worn in the kitchen and bedroom levels, and medical suits cannot be worn in the other levels, just in the health center medical floor. Disposable masks, gloves, and shields must be worn in every contact with patients, and it must be changed between patients. Telemedicine shall be employed every time it is possible for patients with contagious disease, which are in isolation, and all members of the team must perform the sanitization procedures each time they enter the module. On the entertainment resources, we will have an ergometer hammer, a treadmill, access to streaming channel like Netflix, access to internet, scheduled all crew video conferences to perform a integration, and scheduled conferences with family for each astronaut in our module. Of course, these entertainment resources are required for mental health, physical shape maintenance, and crew members integration. They are all really important for our astronauts' quality of life. So it is expected for each module to have these resources as standard.
Now we are going to talk about the 3D printing protocols. And here there's a sentence that I thought that would be nice to tell here to the people, that the future possibilities for 3D printing are very inspiring, and the technology is extremely important to deep space exploration, as said Sam Ortega, Centennial Challenges Program Manager. The University of Arizona has created a controlled environment agriculture center and is demonstrating that plants from Earth can grow hydroponically on Mars or other space environments using human excreted carbon dioxide. Next. The system will include a micro and micro and micronutrient storage system, mixing the formulate paste and a 3D dispensing system where flavored and textured food will be prepared for astronauts. We propose producing synthetic food which meets the nutritional needs of each and every mission, specialist, and astronaut, using unflavored macronutrients such as protein, starch, and fat. The sustenance portion of the diet can be rapidly produced in a variety of shapes and textures directly from the 3D printer. This mixture is blended and struded into the desired shape. The micronutrients and flavors are stored in sterile packs as liquids, aqueous solutions, or dispersions. Also, we can prepare some grains and powdered food and powdered vitamins as well. Also, we propose a small scale greenhouse This greenhouse will have sensors to ensure proper humidity and lighting to grow crops such as potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, and other fruits and vegetables. These greenhouses can be set up ahead of time, ensuring humans have fresh fruits and vegetables upon their arrival or during extended or permanent stay. These fruits and vegetables can be processed similarly to be used in home and restaurant style 3D food printers in factories or by processing them into pastes or gels. Next. The 3D printer units will need to fit into a compact space and to be able to be easily fixed in a part if a part fails. Having a 3D food printer and a regular plastic or hybrid 3D printer in the next model will allow an essentially self-sustaining 3D printing station. Another source of protein and a positive and reusable source of energy are cyanobacteria such as chlorella, algae, or spirulina. These proteins are edible and can be set up as a part of a space habitat in the life support systems. The algae can be harvested and dried, which led to the ability to store the carbohydrates and the protein separately. This feedstock can then be fed into 3D food printers and cooked, or maybe layered, or any other preparation the user wants. Also, we suggest to follow some production protocols for the microfood and 3D printing. The design protein and the starch pastes should have varying textures. To design a storage system to preserve and transport nutrients, the design mixing station that works in low and microgravity, the development of a modified 3D printing system to demonstrate a test recipe including protein, starch, fat, flavors, and micronutrients, nutrition bars, powder vitamins, and other nutrients can be used. Also, we can add calcium and other vitamins to these foods, inserting in the system, in 3D printing system. Some experts believe that printers that use hydrocolloids or substances that form gels with water could be used to replace the base ingredients of familiar dishes with plentiful renewables like algae, duckweed, and grass. With this objective, a team at the Netherlands Organization for Applied Scientific Research in Germany has developed a printed method for microalgae, a natural source of protein, carbohydrates, pigments, and antioxidants. Important detail, the food can be extruded from a system of refillable capsules, meaning you are free to print with practically any ingredients you choose. Here we have a small video showing how could be used the 3D printing and the microfood production. Could you play it, please? Here we have a chocolate ink with orange peel as an example on the video. Also, we can choose several shapes and formats to the food. It also can be used in a manufacturing facility as well, considering the other models. Next.
And that's it, guys. This was our presentation upon our proposals for the health center. Thank you very much for watching and hearing us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks so much, Thays and Jeanine.